Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and wow, this light is really harsh on my face. Normally, I have a window right next to me that lets in a bit of soft light, but it's a cloudy day today, and I realize I look very harsh with this lighting. It looks very serious, like I'm about to be interrogated. Let's talk about being 9 months sober. I am 9 months sober as of today. And this video is going to apply to any of you that have any sort of addiction or maybe a habit that you're trying to give up. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. I'm going to talk about what worked for me. There are obviously a million different ways to work through or overcome or let go of an addiction or a habit or something like that. So this is just what has worked for me. Now, in the past, I had gone 2.5 years completely sober, and I did a video about that in the past. Then I drank for a month, and now I'm 9 months sober again. And so I would like to beat that 2.5 year record. Why do I not want to drink? Because I don't know. I think it's a pretty simple answer. I just like who I am when I don't drink. Alcohol for me has never been something that like fucks up my life, but I can see that if I was to just keep drinking, I would get to that point. I think I'm one of the blessed or lucky people that can recognize his own alcoholism. And it took me a little while to admit it to myself. I'll be honest. Maybe it took me a couple of years, but like it never got to that point where it was completely wrecking my life or destroying my soul or wrecking my friendships or something like that. So alcohol is something that brings me a lot of joy. It makes it a lot easier for me to talk to other people and connect to them and be more loving and be more open and all of that. Like alcohol really benefits me. But what usually happens is I will drink like once a week, every now and then, maybe at a party or something like that to loosen up, and it will be amazing. And then because that feeling is so beautiful, I will go, hey, let's drink a couple of times a week. And then I'll drink 3 times a week, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6. And then all of a sudden I'm drinking every single day. And at first, like, yeah, that's not great. It's certainly not a health benefit to be consuming alcohol, which is to some degree a poison every day. But then I'll start to be drunk like all day. And that's when it starts to get in the way. And I can still function. I can still record content. I can still coach people and all of that. I've always made sure that I'm sober for content and coaching, and then I'll drink in the evening. But it does get to a point where it really starts to affect my sleep. It starts to affect my health, obviously. Like it doesn't feel good to have alcohol all the time, every single day. Like you just don't feel, you feel a bit lethargic. You feel a bit shitty, especially with the poor sleep. I end up being a little bit less productive. I end up being less happy. And then I get to a point where I'm like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. This isn't giving me the benefits. And if I don't stop now, I will keep going, and I can see it going down that pathway. So for me, alcohol is one of those things that it's easier for me to just never consume. Caffeine is actually one of those things for me as well. I rely so heavily on caffeine, and so I like to cut that out of my life, and I'm still working on that right now. I haven't had caffeine in like a week or two, but that's exactly the same. And some of my other vices are like that as well. Porn is one of those things, and maybe we'll talk about that in a separate video, but that's why I like to not drink. Let's talk a little bit about temptations. So I've definitely had a few temptations, or you might say like urges to drink. It's almost always when I'm not feeling great in my own life, like when I'm going through something or when I'm feeling a little bit sad. I think that makes sense to most of us, right? Like our addictions and our vices come up when we're not feeling good. Maybe we're bored, maybe we're really tired. That's a big one for me. Maybe we're lonely, maybe we have a death of a family member, maybe someone breaks up with us, whatever it might be. Then we want to run to porn or binge eating or alcohol or video games or whatever we might be addicted to. And obviously these substances are not bad in and of themselves, but I'm talking about if you have an addiction to them. And so what has helped me in those moments of temptation, those moments of really strong urges, is immediately, like I'm talking bam, straight away, telling a friend or Emmy or a family member or someone, hey, I have a really strong urge to drink. Like I just say that immediately. Like literally the millisecond it is in my head. Okay, maybe it takes me like 5 seconds, but I tell someone fucking immediately. And I don't need to phrase it in a perfect way. I just blurt it out, or I will text someone, hey, I have an urge to drink. I even texted Cam this literally last night. I was going through a little bit of stuff. I've been going through a little bit of stuff over the last week or two, some personal stuff. And maybe I'll talk about that in the future. But I sent Cam this message literally last night. Hey man, I think I'm really tempted to drink alcohol. I'm telling you for my own accountability. That's all I ever say. I just text someone, hey, I'm tempted to drink alcohol. I'm telling you so I can keep myself accountable. And often people will say, do you need me to do anything? Are you okay? Like, do you want me to call you? And I'm like, no, I'm cool. Like, it's all good. Just telling you. And now if the urges get stronger, I'll tell you again. And if I'm tempted a couple of days in a row, then that will tell me there's something big going on in my life that maybe I'm not addressing, or there's some emotions that maybe I want to sit with and process and stop running away from, and all of that sort of stuff. So immediately telling someone has been the biggest fucking game changer for me. Like that way, it's not me handling it. It's not Andy's personal ego trying to handle this big thing, which is where a lot of people go wrong in addiction and habits and vices and all of that. They try and use their own big, juicy ego to just do all the work. And it's like, that's fucking impossible. You're limited. You're one person. And it's sort of a core tenet of the Alcoholics Anonymous program and any program like it that you get fucking help. You let other people help you. You have like friends or the Alcoholics Anonymous group, or it could be a higher power. It could be God or the universe or whatever you believe in. It could be like a mission or a hobby or goal. It's like you throw yourself into self-improvement. So now your time is spent doing that instead of sitting around trying not to drink. But all the time we sit there resisting our urges and resisting our addictions, man, you're just playing on nightmare mode. There's a really good or really, I guess, popular saying in psychology, with psychologists, which is what we resist persists. If you sit there and try and resist alcohol or resist porn, you just make it stronger. Like the urge just builds and builds and builds. Then you give in, then you beat yourself up. And because you beat yourself up and you feel guilty and ashamed and you yell at yourself and you're angry, to deal with those negative emotions, you then run straight back to the addiction. And it's the addictive cycle. And so the way out of that is to let that shit go and say to other people, look, I'm stuck in this addictive cycle. I resist, but the urge just keeps building. I myself am not strong enough to resist. I mean, it's not even about resisting. That's kind of the point. I resist for a while, then I go back to my vice, then I fucking hate myself, then I resist for a while, then I go back to my vice, then I hate myself, and I just keep doing those three things forever. And so you go to someone else and you say, can you help me? Like, can you be there for me? Can you keep me accountable? And that's been the biggest thing that has helped me. And this shit applies to any of your goals too. Like I see so many of you playing on fucking nightmare mode, or maybe like impossible mode, where you're like, I'm going to do all of my goals by myself. And I'm like, okay, but do you have like any friends that you talk about self-improvement with? Do you have any accountability partners? Like, do you meet up with your partners once a week, at least once a week, if not every single day, and talk about your goals? Do they push you? Do you push them? And they're like, no, I'm just going to do it by myself. And it's like, good luck, man. Because you're probably not going to do it by yourself. That's playing on impossible mode. And so having other people in your corner is the biggest thing that helps. And yeah, that's why I mention my coaching all the time to all of you. It's like, stop doing this fucking shit alone. Let people help you. Either me as a coach, friends, accountability partners, just get someone else to help you. Something else that's really helped is having a strong vision of, I guess you would say the future, but more like a strong vision of who I want to be. And does alcohol fit into that? And it's like, no, not really. Alcohol doesn't fit into that. Who do I want to be? Like you write it all down. I want to be this person with these qualities. This is what I want my average day to look like. Here's what I want to do. Here's how productive I want to be. And you think about how beautiful it would be to be that person, or to like take a step towards being that person, and whether or not your addiction fits into that. Like if I ask any of you to tell me your perfect day, like your idea of like the perfect fucking day, like this is my perfect day and I'm the perfect person. And yeah, I know none of us are perfect, blah, blah, blah. But just for a second, imagine that you're perfect and you're living your perfect day. Does your addiction fit into that? And the answer for me is immediately, fuck no, what the hell? No, my perfect day with me as the perfect version of Andy. No, I'm not looking at porn. I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm having no caffeine. I'm getting perfect sleep. I'm peaceful and loving to all, like to everyone around me. Like those are the things that I want. Like porn, alcohol, caffeine, etc. They don't play into that. Binge eating, I've often struggled with binge eating. Binge eating doesn't play into that. My perfect day, I don't sit around fucking eating a bunch of junk food and feeling shit. Like, no, that's not the perfect day. And so if I ask any of you, what's your perfect day? Think about that. That vision of your perfect day can sort of propel you towards it. It's the motivation of like a higher power or a higher cause. Again, this is one of the tenets of Alcoholics Anonymous and similar programs, is have something that's greater than your current life. Like, I want to dedicate myself to self-improvement, or I want to make the world a slightly better place, or I really want to connect with my family and friends, or I want to get a girlfriend and porn gets in the way of that. Like, whatever it might be, but have that strong vision of the future, and that propels you towards it, rather than saying, I'm going to sit around resisting porn. It's like, what are you going to replace it with? Or I'm going to stop drinking. Okay, but what are you going to replace it with? Like, not doing something is not very motivating. It's just motivated based on fear, shame, guilt, and all of that. But if I can get you to have a vision of the future, of what you really want, of your perfect day and your perfect self and all of that, that's motivating, because now you're doing that out of love, out of excitement, out of like, holy shit, this is going to be so cool. That's way more motivating. Like, which one are you more motivated to do? Give up porn or go to fucking, I don't know what any of you are into, like have a beautiful wife and kids? Like, which one motivates you more? Like, giving up porn, you're like, yeah, that'd be cool. But like, anytime I think about that, I just feel shit. Yeah, because you're doing it out of fear, shame, guilt, blah, blah, blah. But if I can get you to sit there and actually meditate on it and say, what would it be like to have a beautiful wife that adores you and loves you? What would it be like to have little kids that look up to you, respect you, admire you, tell you that you're a great dad or a great mother? What would that be like? If I can get you to sit in that, you're like, oh my God, man, like, this is magical. It's like, yeah, and that is way more powerful than just trying to stop a vice. So have some sort of vision of the future. Think about how good it might feel to not depend on some external thing for happiness. Like, that's pretty fucking motivating. How beautiful would it be if I can just be happy? I don't need alcohol. I don't need porn. I don't need whatever I might be addicted to. And being busy with that sort of thing can really help too. Like, throwing yourself into self-improvement, throwing yourself into your goals, like having something to work on. And so for me, that's obviously coaching, my content, blah, blah, blah. Something else that really helped, and this is kind of similar to telling my friends, is telling all of you that I wanted to get sober. So I first mentioned it it would be like 3.5 years ago now, when I first wanted to get sober. Like, the very first time I did a video on it, it was like, it felt like a big admission to me. It felt like a big deal. It took a lot of effort and vulnerability for me to admit, hey, guys and girls, I think I might be an alcoholic. And even at the time, I think I was nervous to say alcoholic. So I think I might have just said, I have a problem with alcohol and I want to stop. But that took a lot of vulnerability. And so admitting it to strangers, and you're not all strangers, but you know what I mean, admitting it to other people can really fucking help. So what would that look like? You could post it in a Facebook, like on your Facebook wall, post it on your social media. You could go to Alcoholics Anonymous or Sex Addicts Anonymous if you struggle with porn, or go to a forum like nofap.org if you want to give up, porn and all of that. Go to Your Brain on Porn if that's what you struggle with. If it's binge eating, there are so many binge eating anonymous groups, and there are so many like Food Addicts Anonymous and Body Dysmorphia. Like, there's self-help groups for all of this shit. Find some of them and start telling your story a little bit. You'll find just sharing your shit helps free up a lot of the guilt and the shame. Like, these addictions that we all have, like that a lot of us have, they only survive in the dark. What I mean by that is, if you don't admit it to anyone else, then it's full of fear, shame, guilt. What if someone finds out my disgusting secret? What if they find out how much of a pervert I am? I look at porn every day. What if they find out I binge eat and I'm disgusting and I'm a fat mess? Like, it's based on shame. That cycle that I talked about, where you resist for a long time, then finally you give in and have your vice, then you beat yourself up, then you resist, then you give in, then you beat yourself up, then you resist. Like, that cycle is based on nobody else knowing how deep it goes. And maybe some people know that you overeat sometimes and you stuff your face, or you have a problem with video games or whatever it might be, but they don't know the depths of it because it hides in secret. That's how we're able to keep that cycle going. So the way out of that cycle is to share it with other people who are in a better position than you are to help you overcome it. Like, think about it. If you share it with other people who are happy or healthy, or who have overcome their own addiction, or who are deeply working on it and have made more progress than you, they just have more energy to help you. Like, use me as an example, like me as a coach. So many of you are going out there like trying to work on your sex and dating life, and you fucking struggle to walk outside the house and say hello to someone that you're interested in. And you try and motivate yourself. You give yourself every chance and opportunity to go outside. Like, you listen to heavy metal music. You give yourself a pep talk. You watch like 100 of my videos. You get really excited. And then when it comes to going outside, you're fucking terrified and you can't do it. It's really hard for you to motivate yourself. Whereas, do you know how easy it is for me to motivate you? Because I've seen literally thousands of people at this point do what you're trying to do. I myself have overcome it. So I'm like, yeah, man, you'll be fine. Like, you can do this. And then I tell you what to do. I talk you through it. You have all these doubts and you're like, but what if I can't do it? And I'm like, yeah, you can, man. It's easy. Like, you might be nervous, but you can do it, man. Just give yourself permission to suck. I'll hold your hand. Here's what you do. Like, that's all I do in the coaching program. It's like, hey, man, I promise this is possible. I'll hold your hand. And then the person will do it. And they'll be like, holy fuck, I can't believe I did this. Like yesterday in the group, we literally had a guy who for the first time in his fucking life told someone that he's actually attracted to them. For the first time in his life. And it was fucking, I mean, he was nervous, but it was like relatively easy. Because he had all of us just being like, hey, man, just send her this text. Tell her, hey, I really like you. I find you attractive. I'd love to take you out for a date. Just text her that. And he did. Because we have more energy, because we feel good. It's so easy for us to motivate someone because we're in a good position where we have a lot to give. But a lot of the time when we're stuck in this like cycle of addiction or cycle of like, habits that are negatively affecting us, we just don't have the energy or the willpower or the motivation to pull ourselves out of it. So stop fucking trying. Like, stop trying to do it yourself. I know we get this big fucking ego payoff of like, hey, I did this all by myself. Look how great I am. But it's like, would you rather the big fucking ego payoff, but you struggle for the next 5 years? Or would you rather just be free of your addiction and be a lot happier and healthier? At some point, I dropped my own ego and I was like, fine, okay, I need help. This is like the basis of the Alcoholics Anonymous program. The very first step number 1, requires you to have the fucking humility to say, all right, fine, my ego isn't good enough. I can't do this. Like literally the first step is admit that I'm powerless to stop this. I keep fucking trying. I've tried for years, and some of you have tried for a decade or so to overcome your addiction. At what point do you have the humility to say, fine, okay, you're happy? I can't fucking do it. Give me help. But we keep just saying, no, I'll be able to do it. No, it's too shameful to share this. No, I can do it. I just need to push myself more. No, I just need to like really give it a good go this time. I tried for the last 10 years. I've tried literally hundreds of times and it never worked. But this time it'll be different. It's like, okay, ego. And I'm saying that with love. That was me. That was me for a long time. That is still to some degree me with porn. That is still me with porn sometimes. I'm like, no, I can do this. I won't tell people. And I've started telling people. I've been telling people for years. I've mentioned it to all of you on the channel. But the ego is strong. My ego is strong too. But at some point, we have the humility to say, okay, I'm willing to do whatever it takes now. Before, I wasn't fully willing to do what it takes because I wanted to do it all by myself. And part of what it might take is asking other people for help. Okay, fine. I'm willing. Give me help. Let me do this. So telling other people helps. And when I first told all of you, that helped more than you could ever know. Like just knowing that the whole audience, I mean, I guess not everyone because you don't all watch all of my videos, but like everyone who watches that video knows that I'm going through this. And then I did a few update videos. I think I did one after a month, one after like 3 months, 6 months. Now I'm doing one after 9 months. I will probably do the next one at 1 year, at the 1 year mark. That helps. Like last night when I was tempted to drink, and I was really fucking tempted to drink. Like I'm talking like that was the strongest temptation I think I've had in a long time because I'm going through, like I said, some personal stuff, which I'll talk about in future. I won't keep that secret. But yeah, it was the strongest temptation I've had in a long time. But knowing that today I'm going to sit down and record this video for all of you was insane motivation. Like there's no way I was going to drink last night because it's like, what am I going to do when I sit down tomorrow? Be like, hey guys, I drank 1 day before the 9-month update video. No, fuck that. And so these milestones really help. And just having other people that know about this shit really fucking helps. So tell as many people as you possibly can. Go to Alcoholics Anonymous or Binge Eating Anonymous or nofap.com or whatever it might be. Get some fucking help, either in person or your friends and family or strangers online or forums or support groups or coaching programs. There are so many coaching programs that help with this shit. Like I will fucking help you in the coaching program. We've helped lots of people, but like Emmy has gone to 2 separate coaching programs for like her binge eating. And I've been in nofap groups. There's all of this stuff that's available and all of this coaching. There's lots of people out there that want to help you. So like let them help you. And I guess I'll say thank you for the accountability. Like you guys and girls didn't really have to do anything, but just your well wishes was more than I ever could have asked for. And just knowing that you guys would know if I drank or if I was sober, that really helped. So thank you for that accountability. On top of that, something else that really helped is removing all temptation. So like having no alcohol in the house. And if you're like a binge eater, or if you're addicted to, overeating or whatever, take all the junk food out of the house. Like, don't fucking tempt yourself. Like, why would you play on nightmare mode? Again, it's that ego part of us that's like, no, I want to be able to get to a point where I can have junk food in the house without binge eating. And it's like, okay, but that day's not today, motherfucker. Why are you playing it on hard mode? Or I want to be able to be comfortable around alcohol. So therefore, I'm going to always have a bottle of whiskey in the cupboard. And it's like, you'll just drink it when you're sad. Like, if there was alcohol in that cupboard, I would have drunk last night. 100%. I would have just gone like, glug, 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 glug. Ah, I feel better. Wait, what the fuck did I just do? Ah, shit. And so just don't fucking have it there. Like, play on easy mode. If you're addicted to porn, install some fucking porn blockers. If you're overeating or binge eating, just don't have junk food in the house. Like, Emmy and I don't have any junk food in the house because we'll just fucking eat it. And if we ever have friends over for a party and like they bring lots of food, we will tell them, take everything home with you. Like, everybody at the end of the night will be like, hey guys, take all the food. Like, don't leave it here because we're going to throw it in the bin. Otherwise, we'll throw it in the trash. Otherwise, we will just eat it. And lots of people who don't understand binge eating are like, what's wrong with you eating it? And we're like, no, listen, we will eat it in the space of like 10 minutes. And they're like, oh, okay. All right, fine, I'll take it. So yeah, obviously let other people help you, but remove all of that temptation from your house. Like, why would you play on fucking hard mode? If you live next to a liquor store, I mean, you don't have to like move or something, though you could. Don't fucking walk past the liquor store for at least the first 3 months or something. Just take a different route, like change up some of your habits to make it easier on yourself. Change up the way you go home, like the drive that you take to go home. So you're not driving past a fucking billboard with alcohol on it. But yeah, these are just some of the things that have helped for me. All right, now let's talk about the big question that I get a lot. How do you socialize? Or even more maybe common is the question of like, how do you go on dates without alcohol? And if you've gone on a few sober dates, you're like, oh, it's no fucking big deal. But I guess this kind of talks to how maybe addicted or how common it is to drink away your problems. Like, the vast majority of people, especially in Western countries, drink away any nervousness or problems like that. And it's kind of telling that the very first question I get asked from a lot of you is like, but how the fuck do you go on dates without alcohol? It's like, holy shit, like what a radical notion. I'm being a bit silly here, but like what a radical notion that you could go on a date without alcohol. Yeah, you fucking can. Before I even gave up alcohol, was having sober dates. I'm someone that hasn't really ever liked to drink on dates. I have done it, quite a lot of times. I've felt that nervousness and then medicated it away with alcohol. And obviously some girls have, but for the most part, I prefer sober dates. Let's say 90% of my dates across my whole life have been sober. And I can't stop them from drinking, but I prefer the women that I'm on dates with to not drink. And so like they can drink in their own time, but not drink with me. I like to have sober sex. I like to know that we're both present, that we're not using alcohol to like push ourselves into a situation that we wouldn't be courageous enough to face sober. Like, I want people, this is going to sound like a loaded sentence, and I promise I'm not saying it in a judgmental way, but I want people that I can really, really, really respect. And not that I don't respect people who drink on dates, like that's not the case, but I respect someone a little bit more if they're really nervous, they're really scared, and they come to the date sober and they go through the date sober. I fucking respect the shit out of that. I want to sit there with a person who's present, not a person who's a little bit loaded up with alcohol and inebriated and not their usual state. And so I've had sober dates since forever. I mostly go on cafe dates during the daytime, or we will go to Starbucks, we'll grab a coffee or a tea or whatever, we'll go sit in a park. Like, that's been most of my dates for the last, 9 years. It's what I like to do. And if you go on dates and the other person is drinking and you don't drink, I promise that's not weird. I've had plenty of dates like that where they drink or they'll say, aren't you drinking? Like, I'll order a Coke or a water, or I will just say like, hey, by the way, I don't drink, but like, feel free to drink. Like, do whatever you want to do. I don't stop people from drinking. I don't tell them I don't want them to drink, but do whatever you want to do. Order a drink if you want to. I would say maybe 50% of people, maybe 30% of people will still order a drink for themselves, and they might be a little bit nervous about that. And I'll be like, it's okay. Like, I don't mind if you drink. Like, sometimes they're like, oh, are you alcoholic? Like, should I not drink? And I'm like, no, drink. Like, I don't mind. Go nuts. Drink. You have a drink. It's fine. Like, I just want a Coke, or I want a water, or I'm cutting down on my alcohol. That's what you can say. You don't have to say, I'm an alcoholic, help, like, oh my God, like, don't drink around me. You can just be like, no, I'm cutting out alcohol. You do whatever you want, but I'm just drinking a bit less. I just want to cut it out a bit. And I would say 30% still order a drink. 70% will say, oh, okay, well, if you're not drinking, I won't drink. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, I don't mind if you drink. Like, drink if you want to. And they're like, no, I think I'd rather just have Coke or water or something. I'm like, sweet, cool. Let's have a cool Coke date or a cool fucking mineral water date. And that's almost more fun because now you're sitting in the emotions. You're both nervous. You're both excited. You get to sit in that instead of kind of like pushing it aside, which is what we do on most dates. Like we medicate it away. We drink it away. We get rid of it. And so I actually prefer, like I said, for the billionth time, I prefer sober dates. Like I actually really like that feeling. As for socializing, sometimes people will peer pressure you, especially if they don't really know you that well. I've found that close friends will never peer pressure me. Like at least my friends, I've built a friendship circle that are all into self-improvement. They all want to improve. They're all full of love and joy and all of that. They're never going to peer pressure me. They're just not those people. They'll peer pressure me if I ask them to keep me accountable or something. But even then, it's not peer pressure. It's like loving motivation. But sometimes if I'm meeting strangers or I go to some party where I don't really know everyone, yeah, I've had peer pressure. And there was one party I went to when everyone was fucking blasted. Like there were people on like Molly, like ecstasy. There was, I think, one dude on LSD. Like everyone was like fucked out of their brain. I think someone had taken cocaine. At least they were acting like it. And everyone was like blasted. I was the only sober person at that party. And yeah, there was a bit of peer pressure at first. People were like, have a drink, man, have a drink. And I was like, no, I'm good. Have a drink, man. I was like, no, I'm okay. And sometimes you might have to repeat yourself a few times before people realize, oh shit, he's not drinking. And sometimes they'll ask you, they'll go, are you an alcoholic? And in those situations, sometimes it can just be easier to say, yeah. And I like to try and give them a bit of compassion and love because often people will feel immediately guilty, which is kind of funny. As soon as people realize that you maybe have struggled with alcohol, they immediately feel like they're a bad person for drinking around you or something. They feel weird. They feel guilty. They're like, oh, fuck. Am I going to make him relapse? Is he going to kill himself because I'm drinking? And you're like, it's okay, my friend. You drink. You have a good time. I'm having a good time right now. You're having a good time. You just happen to be drunk. I just happen to be sober. But we can both have a good time. Drink as much as you want, man. I promise it's all good. So I like to say that. I like to proactively say that, even if they haven't told me that they feel weird around me, like not drinking. I will proactively say, yeah, I'm not drinking, but like you guys have fun. Like go fucking crazy, man. That's usually all that you need to say to help people relax a little bit. Just say like, you drink, I'm not going to. And something that can really help is if you're worried that you might drink or you're worried that there's going to be a temptation, tell your fucking friends beforehand. Like I've done this. I literally did this before that party. I went there with Emmy and went there with Bronwyn, the girl that we've been dating for a couple of years now. And I told both of them, hey, I might be tempted to drink. Would you guys both mind keeping me accountable and like basically don't let me drink? And they were like, yeah. And they didn't really need to do anything because telling them helped me a lot because it's like, well, I'm not going to like fucking pick up a beer and start drinking, am I? Because now these two will be like, what the fuck are you doing? You told us that you weren't, like that accountability counts for a lot. I think I also told one other person there, but like even just telling a couple of people, and we've had other clients that we give them this same suggestion. Like we've had a couple of guys that struggle with binge eating. And it's like coming up to Thanksgiving or Christmas, and they're worried that they're going to go to this Christmas party and just like binge eat, especially because it's their family, and their family are normally like big eaters, and everyone likes to binge eat around Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? Like it's really common. And so we've told these clients, hey, tell your mother, tell your father, tell your sister, tell everyone who's going to be at the party, or just tell like 5 people, like text them now, like a week before, and say, hey, I really struggle sometimes to overeat, and I'm trying to watch what I eat, and it feels like it's nicer to me if I don't overeat. Would you mind keeping me accountable? I think I want to eat maybe I'll go nuts and have 2 plates of food. I think that would be more than enough. That's like eating way more than I normally would. But if you see me getting any more than that, would you mind just gently keeping me accountable? Like I don't want to eat more than 2 plates of food. And every time they tell their friends or family, what do you think their friends and family say? Yeah, I love you. I'm going to do everything I can to help keep you accountable. And we've had some fucking beautiful wins from coaching clients who will then come back the next day and post in the coaching group and be like, holy crap, you guys, I did it. For the first time in my entire life, I didn't binge eat over Thanksgiving or Christmas. My mother was able to keep me accountable. She literally gave me a smaller serving and she said, "How's that? Is that good? Like, I know you said you don't want to eat too much." And I was able to just look at her with all this love and appreciation and be like, "Thank you. Holy shit. I've been trying to do this shit on my own. And now I have a whole, group of people that love me and want me to win." That's why I keep saying, don't do this shit alone. Like, fucking don't do this shit alone. Get friends, get accountability, get forums, go to support groups, pay a coach. I will fucking coach you. Like I said, we've coached a lot of people through addictions, but get some goddamn help. You make it a million times easier on yourself if you do. All right, what has actually improved now that I'm sober, now that I'm not drinking alcohol? I probably could have put this at the start of the video, but I wanted the video to just jump straight into giving all of you some actionable advice and helping you. But for me personally, so this is just the things that have helped or that have improved with me. I am way more present. Like, I think you all know what I mean by present, but I'm way more present with Imi, with my friends, with all of you. Like, I sleep better. I think that's probably what helps me be more present, is that my sleep is a billion times better. I don't feel guilt and shame. You know how I talked about that cycle of addiction where it's like you resist, you eventually give in and do your addiction, beat yourself up, resist, give in, beat yourself up, resist, give in, beat yourself up. Like, without that, so much fucking shame and guilt just like disappears immediately. Like, it just fucking goes away, It's so much easier to be kinder to yourself when you're not in that fucking addiction cycle. One of those three things is beating yourself up, resist, give in, beat yourself up. Imagine if you just didn't have that beating yourself up part. You'd be like, oh, I like myself. Like, I'm doing things that I'm proud of. I'm not doing things that I don't want to do. I'm not an animal giving into his temptations or vices. I get to choose how I live my life and what I put into my body, how I spend my time, what I do. Like, you like yourself more. So I would say I'm much happier. I'm much more peaceful. I'm more self-loving. Like, again, a lot of people with addictions really fucking hate themselves. Maybe some of you do too. And that's okay. Try and be gentle with yourself. But without that whole fucking cycle of addiction, you hate yourself a lot less. On top of that, I would say I'm a much better coach when I'm sober. And I did my best to never be drunk or tipsy or anything during coaching. I would always make sure I drank afterwards. But like, even then, like, just knowing that you're gonna drink is it's a distraction. Like, how present would any of you be when you're with, I don't know, your friend, or maybe you're at your job? If you're at your job and you have a really strong addiction and all you're thinking about is, I want to hurry up and get through the day so I can run home to alcohol, which some people live their life like that, don't they? A lot of people drink after work, or a lot of people will live for the weekend and they're like, I just want to get through Friday. I fucking hate Mondays. I hate Friday. I want to hurry up and get through the week so I can get to the weekend. Like, you're distracted. You're not going to be present. You're not going to do as good a job. And so there was that going on to some extent. Like, I would be on a coaching call and in the back of my mind, I'd be like, all right, I want to hurry up and help this guy so I can go and have a drink of whiskey. I want to hurry up and help this guy so I can get drunk. And obviously that's going to mean I'm not as present. I'm going to like speed the call up just a little bit. Even if I only do 10% less than I normally would, that's still affecting me, isn't it? And so I don't think it made me a significantly worse coach, but it took off 20% of my coaching abilities. And that's a lot. Like, that's still a lot. I'd say the same with my relationships and my friendships. I can remember a couple of times that I'd be hanging out with a friend and I would literally say, hey man, I think I'd look at my watch. Hey man, I think I might head out. And they'd be like, okay, cool, dude. Like, see ya. They don't know any better. Like, they don't know that I'm going home to drink. I'd run home, I'd drink. There were times I left hangouts with, other people, like friends and family, and I'd just be like, I want to go drink. And so it does start to affect your family and your friends and your relationships and coaching and work and all of that in ways that might not be obvious. Because at the time you tell yourself, like, this is no big deal. I hung out with the person and we had a good time. It's not affecting me. Or I was still present with my girlfriend. We had great sex. We had intimacy. It's not affecting me. It's like, yeah, but you're rushing to end that time with that person. And even when you're with them, you're not fully present. You're thinking about the addiction. And some of you, like, you can probably relate to that, right? Where you're spending a lot of your time thinking about the addiction rather than thinking about what you're currently doing or being present with what you're currently doing. Some other things that I learned, so I'm obviously a better coach. I learned that you don't need to drink to have a good time. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Like, I think a lot of people get it, but a lot of people don't. They think the only way I can have a good social life is if I drink a little bit. I can't go to a club without drinking. That's like most people think that you have to drink at a club. I can't go to a party without drinking. I can't hang out with friends and family and have a great time without just a little bit of alcohol to take the edge off. A lot of you believe I can't have a good date without alcohol. Like, I can't relax without alcohol. And so putting it aside or taking a break from alcohol even would show you that, like, yeah, you can have a great time without your addiction, whatever your addiction might be. And I also learned you don't need to drink to relax. And for some of you, you don't need to look at porn to relax. You don't need to play video games to relax. Like, you can if you want to, but like, you don't have to. And I think we tell a story that, like, I need this. I need these video games or I can't feel good. I need alcohol or I can't relax. I need caffeine or I can't wake up. You know, all of these sort of crutches or addictions, we believe we need them, and that's when the problems start. And so, what can you do to relax instead of alcohol, like on a date or something, or at a party? You could meditate a little bit beforehand. You could give yourself permission to suck and say, it's okay if I don't do a good job on this day. It's okay if I'm nervous at this party. What bad thing happens if I'm anxious? What terrible thing happens if there's awkward silence? Why am I so afraid of that? Why do I need to self medicate that with drugs and alcohol? You know, alcohol is a drug, but yeah, and something else that can help is slowing down your breathing in the moment. Like if you're at a party or you're on a date and you're really fucking nervous, just slow down your breathing intentionally. Take a little bit longer to reply to someone. Slow down your speech a little bit and talk more like this. Immediately, as soon as I'm talking more like this, holy crap, I feel really peaceful right now because I just slowed down. So there's any of these sort of techniques that help. In other words, being okay with the nervousness, and you don't have to self medicate it with alcohol or whatever your addiction is, and you don't have to run away from your problems. I think a lot of us, maybe most of the world, spend all their time or a majority of their time running away from problems, running away from negative emotions, running away from fear, shame, guilt. And that's why we turn to addiction in the first place, because we believe the lie that it will solve our problems, because it does temporarily. You are distracted from your problems when you drink. You are distracted from your problems when you jerk off. You are distracted from your problems when you binge eat. We're distracted from our problems temporarily, but then they come back even stronger, don't they? As soon as we stop drinking or stop eating or whatever. And that's part of that cycle is like, I feel bad, so I take my addiction or my vice in order to feel better. And I do feel better for a bit, but then I feel bad, so I take more addiction. And then I feel good for a little bit, but then I feel bad. And we just keep going in that cycle forever unless we break out of it and say, maybe I will deal with my problems. Maybe I'll sit with my emotions. Maybe I'll stop running away. All right, some advice if you have your own addictions. You can obviously take away some of the lessons that I've talked about in this video, and these are just some of the things that I've learned or what's helped for me. This is not like, you know, the complete guide or something, but I'd say the main one is ask for help. Like, you alone are not going to be enough to overcome your addiction. Your beautiful, big, juicy ego likes to tell you that you are, just like mine does sometimes. Mine likes to tell me, no, I got this. I can do this by myself. It's like, no, you can't. Stop fucking around and just let someone help you. Or even if you can, like, let's say your big, juicy, beautiful ego is correct and you can overcome this addiction by yourself. How long is it going to take you? A year, 2 years, 3 years? Even if it only takes you 6 months to be free of your addiction, why wouldn't you get help with that and do that in like 1 month? You will do it like infinitely quicker with other people's help. That can be paid coaching. You know, I will coach you. There are support groups for this. That could be fucking free. Like Alcoholics Anonymous is completely free, always has been, always will be. Like, whatever your addiction, there are free support groups. There are forums. You can just freaking Google it. Like, Google whatever your addiction is and then help. Like, alcoholism, help. Porn addiction, help. Like, just Google it and you'll find a bunch of stuff. Some of that's local in your area, some of it's online. It's all helpful, it's all useful, but get people to help you. Like, you alone are not going to be enough to overcome your addiction. So stop playing on impossible mode. Stop giving into that big ego that goes, I can do this by myself. Even if you can, why take 10 times longer to do it? Just let fucking people help you. Get accountability. Why make it harder on yourself? Obviously, other than to stroke your own big ego. I guess the final question is, like, do I miss drinking? Like, sometimes, sure, but like not really, if I'm honest. Like, every now and then, like, I don't know. I'll have an urge these days, maybe once every 2 months. And other than last night, which again, I'm going through some personal stuff. So, like, that's why it was so strong last night. But normally the urge is like, I'll see a billboard for whiskey or something, and I'll be like, wow, I bet that tastes good. I bet that would make me feel good. Man, I miss whiskey. And then 5 seconds later, I'm present again and I'm working on whatever I'm working on. So, obviously, having a busy life and having stuff to do helps a lot with that. But yeah, I don't really miss alcohol. I think sometimes there's a part of me, and I've heard this is common with people who are overcoming addictions. Sometimes there's a part of me that like argues with reality and goes, I wish I could just have a normal person's brain and just be able to consume alcohol and like that's it. And it's like, yeah, but you don't, so get on with it. Like you know what I mean? I think we often do that, don't we? Like a lot of us do. We're like, I wish I had a bigger dick. I wish I was taller. I wish I was richer. I wish I wasn't so nervous. I wish I was courageous and confident. I wish I wasn't bald. I wish I had fucking a better face. And it's like, yeah, but you don't, so get on with it. Stop bitching. Hurry up. Come on. Move on. What are you going to do next? Like, yeah. So I throw myself back into reality and keep on going. All right. Future goals for me. Obviously, we're not going to talk about general goals. My general goal, if you want to know, my life mission at this point is to make as many people in the world smile as I possibly can before I die. But in terms of alcohol, my future goals are to get to 1 year sober. So that'll be 3 months from now. So that will be 29th of June. I just looked it up. So I will do a 1 year sober video at that point. After that, I would like to get to 2 years. And then I would like to get to 2.5 years, which was my previous record, like 3 years ago. And then I would like to beat that and see where we go from there. I don't know if I'll never drink again. I think setting that as my goal almost like overwhelms me and in a weird way makes me want to run to alcohol and go like, oh my God, I can't do that. A lifetime of no drinking, that's impossible. That's too hard. So I don't try and put that pressure on myself. I think that's not going to help me. And so I'll go 2.5 years and then we'll see after that. I won't predict the future. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I can get to 2.5 years. I'll do my best to get there, and then we'll see after that. So if any of you want any help with addiction, like I said, there's lots of free groups out there. There's Alcoholics Anonymous, which is where I would say to go first. But if you have other addictions like porn or whatever, there's like nofap.org. There is Your Brain on Porn. There's all of that sort of stuff out there. If you struggle with binge eating, there's lots of help groups for that. Whatever your addiction might be, I promise there are lots of people going through the same shit that you're going through. You're not a freak. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not disgusting. You don't need to keep hiding in the shadows of shame and guilt and fear. You can let other people help you. You can bring out your addiction into the light, and you'll find that most people are a lot more open-minded and less judgmental than you think. I think a lot of times we have this big fear of like, if I share this, people will find out my ugly secret. Most of the time, people will just be like, oh shit, do you want some help with that? And you're like, oh, yes, please. Like, that's how the conversation usually goes. Or if they don't understand the addiction, they'll just go like, oh, I don't really get it because I can just not drink. Why don't you just not drink? And they just won't get it. And that's fine. Just go talk to the next person. But the vast majority of people won't be like, ew, you're disgusting. You're a stupid, ugly piece of shit. Like, why are you addicted? That's gross. You're fucked up. Some people might be like that. That might be an opportunity to maybe spend less time with that person, maybe even cut them out of your life if they have a habit of being that judgmental. I would never tell any of you to stick around with very judgmental people in your life. That can often bring you down. Nothing against those people, but that's just where they're at. So I promise there's lots of people out there that will be open-minded and non-judgmental, particularly if you go to support groups. They'll just all be like that. And obviously in our coaching program, if you wanted to come to our coaching program for this sort of stuff or anything really, the coaching program is very open-minded and non-judgmental. Like I said, we've helped people with binge eating. We helped a couple of people with bulimia, where you sort of make yourself throw up in order to purge food, all of that. Anorexia, mental health issues, all of that. Like, I will say most of the coaching group is for like sex, dating, business, peace and happiness and all of that. But we have helped quite a few people with like addictions as well. So I will leave links in the description to the coaching program. Actually, I wasn't going to say this, but whatever, I'll start saying it now. So in the next, I guess we'll just say it starts now then. I'm offering a coaching deal. I'm offering another big coaching deal. So $2,000 off coaching off the usual price, plus an extra 4 weeks if you sign up within the next, well, I won't put a date on it, but it's probably going to be within the next month. I'm still figuring that out. But I'll start it now. I may as well tell all of you about it now. So instead of the usual 11,000 US dollars for coaching, it's $9,000, and you get an extra 4 weeks. So you'll be in there for 16 weeks. $9,000. We have payment plans for all of that. So now, if you've been thinking about coaching, now would be the most beautiful time. But I'll maybe do a separate video or a separate couple of videos with more details. But yeah, I wanted to put that out there for any of you that have been thinking about coaching. I'm happy to jump on a free call with you, talk through any concerns you have, any fears, any limiting beliefs. We can figure out the money thing and the payment plan and all of that. Links down below. Just mention this coaching deal when you sign up. Like, make sure you mention this to get that $2,000 off and that extra 4 weeks. But I promise all of you are capable of changing, whether that's addiction or just some general big goals that you want to have. I absolutely promise you that you can do it. I would love to help you, but even if you do it on your own, you are fucking capable. You're all amazing people. And thank you for being here for my 9 months of sobriety.